Yeah. Yeah. Turn the page. Look close at the line. Oh, the scroll stops short, the rest ain't divine. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. But scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. But scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. Scholars admit it. Check the text, earliest copies, the rest in next. No snake handling, no mountain claim. Those verses came with another name. Two endings found, short and long. Man-made edits to make faith strong. But truth don't need a patch or glue. If God revealed it, it stays true. So how can a book so holy, untamed, need footnotes saying this part's unnamed? If perfection fades by pen in hand, then who's the author, God or man? Mark 16 ends at verse 8. The scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. The scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. They changed the tale, filled in the gap to make the story loop and rap, but witnesses differ. Luke, John, Matt, each one tell it different. Imagine that, one woman, two women, angels there, stone rolled back. But how, from where, each page contradicts the rest. If truth's divine, it should stand the test. Council debates, centuries grind, which lines stay, which left behind. But revelation don't shift or bend. Truth begins how it will end. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. The scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. The scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. History carved with a human hand. Power decides what books still stand. Lost gospels buried, burnt or banned. Truth rewritten by royal command. Yet the prophets before said loud and clear, God's word eternal, no edits here. So if Mark got touched, additions made, that's proof enough, foundation decayed. Now I hate just fact, the scholars agree. Earliest manuscripts end at verse 8. See, if God had spoken, the line would stay, not fade, not change, not slip away. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. But scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen. Mark 16 ends at verse 8. The scribes came later to fabricate added lines. Resurrection scene, but the early record nowhere seen.